My friend's birthday surprise.
Part 1. They are really outrageous. Rico opened his eyes reluctantly, feeling just as sluggish as any other morning. The sun had only just risen, casting light into his small apartment room. Being 20 felt heavy, yet beneath it, there was a glimmer of hope and curiosity to discover more about himself. It was his birthday, and although he hadn't planned anything special, his friends from college were likely to have something unexpected up their sleeves. Sitting on the edge of the bed, Rico reached for his phone on the nightstand. Birthday wishes from his friends filled the screen. Leela, his girlfriend, had sent a message with a teasing kiss emoji, adding a spark to his morning. But what intrigued him most was a message from his close friend, Vina, asking him to come to the mall after class. Don't forget to show up. We've got a surprise for you. Read Vina's message, igniting Rico's curiosity. His class ended earlier than expected. At noon, Rico left the classroom with a spring in his step, though his mind buzzed with curiosity. After gathering a few friends, they all headed to the mall near campus. Inside, the mall was bustling, but Rico didn't pay attention to the shoppers. His mind was fixated on the surprise his friends had hinted at. Once they entered a quiet cafe, Rico sensed that something unusual was in the air. Leela gave him a knowing smile as she sat at a reserved table, and their other friends gathered around. What's going on? Rico asked, a hint of nervousness in his voice. Vina smirked, who's the birthday boy. She waved to a few of their large male friends, giving them a signal. Rico felt uneasy, but before he could react, his friends moved swiftly, and in an instant, he was ushered to the men's restroom. Hey, what's this about? Rico exclaimed, trying to resist, but his friends were stronger. Before he could protest further, they started removing his shirt, replacing it with a dress they'd prepared. This pretty dress suits you, Rico, said Galong, one of the larger friends, laughing. Come on, why the hesitation? Rico froze. He wanted to object, but the eager, encouraging looks from his friends finally made him relent. He reluctantly donned the long, soft pink dress with flowing sleeves. The smooth fabric wrapped around him gently, transforming his appearance instantly. Though hesitant, he couldn't deny a flicker of intrigue. This was a new experience, wearing something so unmistakably feminine. As he stepped out of the restroom, his friends stared in awe. Amazing, bro, Galong said, visibly impressed. Vina looked at him and exclaimed, perfect. You look great. Rico glanced at his reflection, hardly recognizing the person looking back. As he settled into the dress, an unexpected feeling emerged. Maybe it was the attention he was getting, or perhaps the thrill of seeing himself in such a different way, elegant, graceful, and a bit daring. Leela, who'd been watching him with a soft gaze, approached. You look beautiful, honey, she said warmly, and then she added makeup, a wig, and heels, helping him feel even more at ease. Her touch sent a spark through him, an odd yet exciting sensation that made him feel both nervous and energized. His friends invited him to walk around the mall, and with every step he took, the tension in him grew into something more thrilling. The glances he received, whether subtle or direct, made him feel more alive, more captivating than ever. At times, Leela's gentle hand in his filled him with warmth, amplifying his newfound sense of self. Every gaze he attracted was both exhilarating and slightly intimidating. People's reactions, whether they smiled or looked surprised, left him feeling oddly empowered. Try this one. You'd look even better in this brown dress, Vina suggested, holding up a luxurious, eye-catching gown. Rico felt a bit overwhelmed, but his curiosity got the better of him. All right, but let's not overdo it, he said, slightly hesitant. As he slipped into the fitted black dress in the changing room, Rico was again taken aback by his reflection. The dress hugged his frame, emphasizing his shape in ways he'd never considered. The soft fabric against his skin created a feeling he couldn't quite explain. He felt alluring, confident, and, although anxious, he was intrigued by the confidence this look brought him. When he stepped out, both Leela and Vina looked at him, wide-eyed. Wow, you look incredible, Leela murmured, her gaze admiring. Rico blushed, but couldn't hide a proud smile. He realized that dressing in this way made him feel more attractive, more valued. Kinda makes you wonder, doesn't it? Vina said, stepping closer with a mischievous grin. You don't just look good, you're, like, magnetic. Rico turned to her, feeling a bit flustered. What do you mean? He asked, hiding his unease. Vina laughed lightly, but her eyes held something deeper. You're starting to feel it, aren't you? This change in herself. Her voice was soft, yet filled with intent. Rico was quiet, wondering if she was right. Was this experience actually reshaping how he saw himself, even if just for the day? He couldn't stop the stream of emotions coursing through him, the boosting confidence, the thrill of his reflection, and the way people were now looking at him. Do you really think so? Rico whispered, his voice trembling slightly. Despite the awkwardness, a sense of satisfaction bloomed within him. Leila's gentle, approving smile only reinforced the idea that what he was feeling wasn't a mere fluke. They continued wandering through the mall, and while Rico initially felt shy, a peculiar and invigorating sensation kept emerging. People's glances became increasingly captivating. They boosted his confidence, making him feel uniquely alive. As they strolled, Vina moved closer. You know, Rico, you're not just beautiful. You're really intriguing, she teased with a playful tone. Rico felt a slight blush rise as she gazed at him, sensing something more than just a compliment. There was an unspoken spark, a new side of himself emerging that he couldn't fully comprehend, but wasn't ready to ignore. The evening wore on, and they stopped at a quieter cafe with dim, intimate lighting, away from the hustle of the mall. Leila's hand still held his, now with a gentle, yet firm grip. She looked into his eyes with a smoldering gaze. I love seeing you like this, Rico, she said softly. In that moment, Rico felt a shift within himself. The day hadn't just been about dressing up, it had been about discovering a hidden side of himself, and he was ready to embrace it. Not long after, they all sat down, with Vina close by, smiling knowingly. They chatted about everything and nothing, but with each passing moment, the atmosphere grew more charged. Rico felt an undercurrent of tension and electric thrill running through his veins. He glanced back at Leila, and their gazes locked, a silent understanding shared between them. Vina, observing with keen interest, finally broke the silence. You two really make a perfect match, she said with a playful grin. There's definitely something between you. Leila gave a small smile and placed her hand over Rico's. We just want you to feel free, Rico, she said gently. Free to be whoever you want to be, without any fear. As the evening grew later, the cafe's ambience became more intimate. Leila stroked his hand again, this time with a touch that sent a warm, thrilling shiver through him. How about we go somewhere cozier? She asked, her voice soft and laced with desire. Rico glanced at her, slightly nervous, but with an undeniable spark of excitement. Where to? He asked, even though he already knew. Vina, watching them, smirked as she rose to her feet. You to go on ahead. I have things to take care of. She winked. Don't worry, I'll be just fine. With that, Leila gently led Rico toward the cafe exit. The night sky grew darker as Rico and Leila stepped into a quiet hotel at the end of the street. The silence of the night felt intimate, filled with an unspoken closeness between them. Leila held Rico's hand tightly, as if giving him the courage he had longed for, but hadn't felt. Inside, Rico felt a mix of hesitation and an overwhelming urge to explore a part of himself he hadn't fully understood. Once they reached the prepared room, Leila closed the door gently and looked at Rico with warmth in her eyes. There was a glow of acceptance and a hint of playfulness in her gaze, inviting him to feel at ease. You know, Rico, Leila said with a soft smile, tonight, you're not just beautiful, you're radiant, in a way I've never seen before. Rico smiled shyly, flattered yet a bit unsure. Still, Leila's presence gave him comfort, making him feel safe in this new expression of himself. Everything about today had enchanted him with this new sense of self, and Leila seemed to be the key to helping him unlock a hidden part of who he was. Moving closer, Leila gently touched Rico's cheek. You don't have to feel awkward, she whispered, her voice filled with warmth. I'm here for you. He looked at her, feeling his heart race. I don't know how to explain how I feel, he said quietly. Leila's smile softened as she held his hand, her touch reassuring. Sometimes you just have to follow your heart, she said. Tonight is your time to embrace yourself, exactly as you are. They sat together on the edge of the bed, sharing a silent connection that felt deeper than friendship. They exchanged a look that didn't need words, simply listening to the sound of their synchronized heartbeats. In the quiet, Leila said, you can be anyone you want tonight, Rico. What matters is that you feel comfortable being yourself. Her words gave Rico a newfound strength, a sense of peace in his soul. It felt like he had finally found a part of himself that had been hidden all along. Under the night sky filled with mystery, he felt a freedom he had never known, without fear or hesitation, a freedom to truly be himself. To be continued. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Thank you.